We still have our things from last time. Give me a sec. I was very confused. I was like, why the fuck is there food? Violet, hello. Welcome to stream. All right. Good evening, good morning, etc. Hold on. Tracking's weird. There we go. On today's agenda, honestly, I'm feeling really tired. No, not tired is the wrong choice. I want to exist. So one of my favorite things to do is like after a long day, I specifically find this a certain type of song that right, and I have it under like a category, and I just exist. And currently, that's the mood. Is there a chance we play a random video game? Yes. Is there a chance we watch a random video, maybe pop a meat? 95%. It is a higher chance. But yeah, how are y'all today? Are we big chilling? How has this week been so far? Now that we're a little over halfway. You tired today too? Hey, I feel you. I feel you. Hey, but we're halfway there, and I am really excited for the weekend. Just cause like over here, it's been a long day. Oh man. Hey, but I mean it's almost over, right? For you, it's probably like 8 or 9 over there. So I'm glad you're having some time to rest and relax, Violet. I completely I feel that not today, but just like these past few weeks, it's been like damn. It's just been like it's been a journey, you know. So I'm glad you're here, but I'm glad you're here. But no, it's I think it's important to have like days where it's kind of like slow, you know. Um, in my field of work, the slow word is a bad word because it's like a bad omen. But I think I'm home, so I'm away from the anti in the field. So yeah, no, it'll be a slower day. I didn't make any tea today. I just have this half, not even half. It's less than a water bottle, and then I have another water next to me. Um, if you don't know much, I guess I haven't really gone into detail about this. I am a dork. Okay, I love dorky things, and I really love cryptids. Right now, for the most part, maybe it's because I'm American, but I don't see much, much of like how do I word this? Okay, I've only seen American cryptids, right? I know some other like foreign cryptids, but not like not. I feel like they're not as popular, at least to me. Like a cryptid is like something that's weird, right? So Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, the shadow-eyed children that appear at night, apparently only in Texas. Like I enjoy stuff like that, right? And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I saw this video and I'm like, you know, that would be so interesting to react on stream because I don't know if that's a thing besides here in the in the US of A. Like you know, I thoroughly I 65% believe that Bigfoot exists. Okay, is it a random redneck countryman who's drunk off of moonshine? Is it and is wearing a giant fursuit? Maybe, but I like to think that there is something out there, and so it's like that like it's the unknown thing. It stemmed from I'd say it's part of the thing that I like about like space or oceans that we don't know, and I think it's the same way with cryptids. It's like these random things that no one can really explain. They might be fake or they might not be fake, and it's like, okay, okay, I like the way you think, Magic Man. Like it's cool. So I found a video right now called Texas Cryptids, and I am excited. Unfortunately, I don't think we have Bigfoot here. Oh, by the way, Texas. I live there. Whatever. Yeehaw. Um, I don't think we have a bunch of like Bigfoots, unfortunately. But oh my gosh. Okay, so when I was little, all right, it's time to yap. So when I was little, I would go on the educational like show, right? Planet, something like that. Planet something. and I would just binge watch stuff, and it'd be random stuff, right? On Discovery Planet, and it would just be random stuff. But my favorite show was Finding Bigfoot. Oh my god, that shit! I would eat that shit up. It was my favorite show. I think because I really enjoy the like Midwest of the states. I think it's very pretty. Compared to where I live, it's hot, it's humid, it's sticky. So I'm like, oh, look, the air looks so crispy, and like it just looks great. So I would love watching Finding Bigfoot, right? It would be like, I think his name was Bobo, and I thought I remember Bobo was this big dude, right? And he was like, I believe in squanches. I saw a squanch once, and I saw him, and he was real. That's awesome, bro. That's all. Like he would talk like that, and the show was they would go around and to places that had heavy Bigfoot influences or sightings, and they wouldn't prove Bigfoot was real. They never could. But their goal of the show was to how do I say this? To confirm that there might be Sasquatches in the area. That's pretty much was the goal of the episodes. So like they went to Florida to get the skunk man, right? Now, what the skunk man is, so the skunk man is the Bigfoot of Florida, but Florida has a bunch of swamps, right? Florida isn't just, pretty like beach, like, pretty beaches and beach women. Like, no, there's bogs and there's like swamps. So the theory is that Bigfoot Sasquatches are a species, okay? But there's different variants, right? Just like how we humans are species, and there's different kind of versions of us. For the Squanches, it's the same way, all right? Hear me out, okay? My tism is very strong here. So, the reason why they call it the Skunk Man is because the Sasquatches in Florida smell like ass. And, you can make a joke saying it, damn, like, they don't shower down there. No, it's because the marshes and the swamps have holes in it, and the Sasquatches burrow in there, right? And they sleep there. Well, those little pockets in the ground have. I was about to say methamphetamines. No, they have methane. Methane. They do not have methamphetamines. Methane. So methane, it smells like sulfur. It's very stinky. It smells like ass, So the reason why the Sasquatches stink, allegedly, in Florida is because they live in these, like, methane holes, right? And then there's the one in, like, the Midwest, like West Virginia or stuff like that, right? So Sasquatches communicate in knock. I sound like an idiot right now. So Sasquatches, they communicate in different ways, right? So a lot of it is like howling. So it's like that, or they communicate in knocking, right? So if a Squatch is with you and you want to communicate, you grab a giant stick and you hit it on like a tree, right? And that's a form of communication for the Sasquatches, right? So there's different ways to do it. In the show, Bobo, he puts his hands together like this, and he like inhales, and it's almost like a moan. He's like, oh, like, I can't do it, mostly because I have guests over right now. But so he does that. But then others like to screech. What the fuck? Yeah, exactly. Others like to screech, like they're like, woo, 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 like, stuff like that. And it's just so interesting. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then sometimes there's a response, there's a response, and I'm like, oh, this is getting interesting. And so there's different ways. So Sasquatches are mammals, and but they behave similar to chimpanzees in the sense that the mothers, they carry their young just like how monkeys do, right? Or I guess like possums do, because baby possums, they attach themselves to their mothers, right, and their underbelly, and so they walk. So Sasquatches can go from bipedal quadrupedal or on all fours, right? So I've researched this extensively, okay? And so they can move pretty quickly and cover a lot of ground really quickly too. And so yes, Violet. Yes. So they can move pretty quickly and cover a lot of ground. And one of my this thing scared me as a kid. Looking back, the animation was so ass. But it was this couple, right? So it's this guy and his wife, right? And they're on the four-wheeler in the woods, right? And they're like, we were just driving there, and then we see something on all fours. It was on all fours. Like, Joseph, did you see that? Oh, damn, Barbara, I did. Barbara, I did see that. And then we were on a four-wheeler. This huge man bear thing started to chase us on all fours. And I looked at my wife and I said, Barbara, we gotta get the fuck out of here, Barbara. And she was like, honey, I completely agree. It's just a guy in a suit. No, listen. The copium is real here. Listen, it's not just a guy in a suit, because then they said they freaking hauled ass, right, in the four-wheeler, and this thing started chasing them in all fours, and it was keeping up with them. Like, I never see. Look, listen, Violet. The horse women may be able to trot on all fours, but they cannot go as fast as a four-wheeler. Have you seen that? Have you seen those like horse girls who learn to like trot on all fours? Oh, sounds like they were high. Oh my god. Oh, funny story about that. So I have coworkers who grew up over there, and they're older, right? And I'm like, hey T, what's, like, up there, our Sasquatch is real? Man, no. No. And then I had two coworkers. I'm like, wait, but like, what do you mean? Like, all these sightings? They're like, dude, there's nothing in those woods. The only thing dangerous about that are the crackheads at night. And I just thought it was funny, but no, I have coworkers that I just like talking. I like talking to about that. I'm like, guys, Bigfoot, and they're like, bro, what the fuck? But no, what is playing right now? What song is this? Oh, it's Maury. Okay. And so, yeah, so they can go on all four. They're territorial. They're mostly nocturnal, but some are, I guess, daytime creatures. But most of their movements are in the night. So let me see what else I can communicate with. They're omnivores. They hunt deer and other stuff, and berries too. So they're like us. But the thing about it is that the whole ecosystem somewhat revolves around them. Like, if they're there, it affects the ecosystem, right? Because wolves will follow them, because they'll eat and leave scraps, and the wolves will come in and eat those scraps, right? Like it just makes sense. It makes sense. I might watch a clip of it and then just to show you, because man, I love that show. Wait, have y'all seen Finding Bigfoot? Please tell me you do. Please tell me I'm not the only one that grew up weird. Oh no, but no. You missed out, dude. Oh my god, no. So I made a good investment 2 years ago. I bought the Discovery Planet membership, right? Because they have like a membership now, like Netflix. Dude, that was the best thing ever. Like, I would come home and I'm like, man, I want to feel stupid right now. So I turn on I go on the app, right? And I watched a lot of Finding Bigfoot. A lot of Finding Bigfoot. An unhealthy amount. Because like Amazon Prime didn't have it. So then I got the subscription. And then everything was weird, right? For some reason Demi Lovato was there in in like a show, and she was like, "Today I am discovering if ghosts are weird." Me, Demi Lovato, with a Ouija board. I'm like, this, I don't care, man. Like, see, for me, I don't fuck with demon stuff or like paranormal stuff, right? But if it's unholy horrors of the night, cryptids, or eldritch beings, I, I eat that up. I find that so cool. That's why when it comes to my horror movies, I don't like I don't like it when the villain's just a human. Like, I'm just like, so it's just so it's just a random guy or girl. I can beat them up. I can break their hand. Like, I can take them on. But if it's like, oh, this is like a being from ancient times, lived for millennia, like whatever, right? And it's like, oh, I can't win this. I love that. So so back to the Discovery Plus membership. Um, so I was there, and then I found this show called Alaskan Monsters. It was the best thing I've ever. Oh my gosh. Okay, look. So Finding Bigfoot, it tries to be serious. It tries to be, like, okay, this is real. There are facts. There are sightings and stuff like that. Like, they have whole segments where they go to like the town hall and they interview people, and they're like, guys, how many people in here have seen a squatch? And like, everybody raises their hand, and it goes in slow mo, and they're like, and they play some, blah, and they play some type of serious music. It's like, oh my gosh, there is some squanch activity here, feeling mighty squanchy. And I'm quoting. That is a legitimate quote that I'm saying right now. So it can get, they try to keep it formal, and they keep it serious, but Alaskan Monsters throws that out the window. Okay, listen, if you think Alaskan Monsters is real, I think we need to have a heart to heart. Okay, just straight up. So, you believe the Loch Ness Monster too? I don't know, because a plesiosaur could live, but the amount of food it would need to eat to survive for that long, and I don't think it's just one. It would be a multiple, like probably an underground species that keeps on, I guess, mating with each other and kind of repopulating. But then that would just lead to, I guess, genetic defects. Because the thing about incest, it's really bad for like anyone, right? For most species, because it affects the gene pool. So the gene pool would make it weak to certain bacteria and viruses, and in the end, those species would just get wiped out. So, long story short, I don't know, Violet. I don't know. Hold on, I need a sip of my water. So, I don't know. I'd like to. LMAO. I like how it went from, you believe in the Loch Ness Monster. So the reason why incest is really bad. So no. I like to say that I believe in the in the Yeti, in the Himalayan guy, just because like I think the Yeti's so chill. And the Yeti is just so chill. Okay, the Yeti, if you're lost in the Himalayas and you're like about to die, he'll take you to civilization, right? He's super chill. Oh, okay, wait, okay, hold on. So back to the Bigfoot story, right? So another reason why I think it's real, it's because I have a friend, and went to, I expressed what I'm saying to y'all, right? And he was like, so my grandpa saw Bigfoot, and I'm like, he did now. And he's like, yeah, my grandpa was a tough, strong, Southern man. But every time they would ask him about it, he'd go like, he'd be quiet. He'd be like, I don't want to talk about it. So the story goes, now this is like a fourth hand telling of the story. Essentially, homie was hunting in the dark at night, and then he heard rustling, and he took out his rifle to shoot, and he saw Bigfoot, like a huge thing with like eyes staring at him, and Bigfoot just backed away. Do not just, how dare you? That was Bigfoot. That was Bigfoot. All right, listen. Maybe Bigfoot doesn't exist in Europe, right? But that makes sense, all right? If you think about it, if we go back to the theory of Pangea, right? So Pangea, sure. So listen. It would make sense. Pangea was the theory, right? The Pangea is a supercontinent, and we all lived in one continent. And then the tectonic plates started to split, and we started drifting apart, right? So it would make sense that a form of, I guess, sapiens would be on one part, right, and then break off. Like it's the same way that like Neanderthals and humans existed together, just that humans outbeat Neanderthals. It's the same way. Which that'd be terrifying. Imagine if you're the dominant species, and then you see like a carbon copy of yourself, but taller and less bulky. That's faster. It can kill you. Like that is horrifying. But I guess we won that. Easy, boys. Easy dubs, as we're all here. So I'm like, Bigfoot has to be real. When I was young, I was in 8th grade, and I was like, went to my mom. I was like, Mom, I want to hunt a Bigfoot. And she's like, yes, mijo. Where the proof then? We'll talk about that. There is proof. There is footprints. There are low quality pictures. There are recordings. All right. There's proof. There's a lot of proof. Check YouTube, a credible source. And so I was like, Mom, I want to hunt Bigfoot, right? So one of my life goals is I want to hike the Appalachian Trail, which if you don't know what that is, in the United States, if we're looking at the map, it's near the middle right side. It's this huge mountains from called the Appalachian Mountains, and they have a hiking trail, right? Now, if I'm gonna go on those trails, I'm gonna have with me a shotgun, bear spray, a deagle, pepper spray, and some hunting rifle. I want to be loaded, right? Because if a crackhead attacks me, I'll shoot. If a bear attacks me, that's like father lore. That's dad lore in the making. I need to be ready. So if a bear attacks me, I need like high caliber rounds that can like pierce through it. Because the thing about bears that makes them so like dangerous, but one, they're bears, but two, like if you look at your cat or dog and they have that little loose skin, right, that protects them from any piercing damage, because it shifts around, and anything that like a bullet, it won't kill them. Bears have that, but on crack. So I need something strong to kill a bear. Also, what if I encounter a Bigfoot on the trail, Violet? What then? Can you imagine the first VTuber to see Bigfoot? That would be a moment. Yeah, exactly. The what? Okay, wait. Listen. You have to do what you have to do to survive, okay? So, if you gotta shoot Bigfoot, you gotta shoot Bigfoot. Granted, I don't think it'd be a smart idea, though. Because mostly Bigfoots don't really mess with you. If Bigfoot is real. No. Violet, thank you. If you just delete the if, I completely agree. So, what do you call it? Yeah, no. I was like, Mom, I want to hunt Bigfoot. And then I met a man from Canada that same year. And he's like, yeah, my dad saw Bigfoot in Canada too. Right, that is 3 sightings already. That is 3 sightings in my general vicinity that that's proving that Bigfoot is real. Okay, come on. The future is now, Violet. The future is now. Hold on, I'm taking a sip of my water. So, back to Alaskan monsters. Okay, we did a whole detour on that. Um, so the show, right? And I saw Bigfoot. You did? I mean, I thought there wasn't much Bigfoot sightings in the UK. I mean, I know there's a no. Why? Why do you do this to me? I got excited. I was like, oh, that's sarcasm. That really flew over my head. You saw Bigfoot in the UK? No. So what was I gonna say? Okay. Yeah, no, they're mostly in Alaska and I think Russia. But Russia, they got other stuff. We don't talk about the Russian cryptids. They'd be dangerous. My favorite thing, so whenever how do I word this without make, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna say it. Whenever the war in Ukraine started, Facebook had a bunch of memes, right? Some of them were really bad, but my favorite one was the one that said that there is a Russian soldier called the Gremlin of the Kremlin, and he would like crawl around the battlefield and ask people to solve riddles for like coffee or something. It was fake, but I thought it was funny, like the Gremlin of the Kremlin. Like, oh, that sounds great. Anyways, but this song. Sorry. Anyways, what was I gonna say? So, yes, Alaskan monsters. We will get to this. I promise you. All right, I won't get distracted this time. The Alaskan monsters. It throws everything out the window, right? It's not serious at all. Now, I think I can show you the trailer, but it's this ragtag team of duos, right? There's this man called Little Bear. It's this big man with a big beard, and he's like, we're here at the final frontier of the world, Alaska. Things happen over here. People go missing, and then we have like they have an engineer. They have this crusty, dusty, like musky looking old man. Like, and the reason why I said it that way is because like either his beard's old or it's graded out, but it's so old that it's turning like a yellow at the bottom or like a copper. And I'm like, ew, like shave your beard, brother. And then they have like the freaking pyrotechnician and like stuff like that, right? And you know, unlike Finding Bigfoot, all they do is record, right? These men, they hunt. Like they hunt. Like the first episode was like, today we're hunting the Bushman. The Bushman ain't gonna get us. The Bushman ain't got no shit on us. And the old dude sounds like this. Yeah, like he sounds like that. He sounds like that. And then they're like, here, we set up a giant trap for the Bushman. He ain't gonna do it. And the old man's like, yeah, rabbit. And then they're like, and then night falls. All right. And these men show up with their weapons, their shotguns. Little Bear is dual wielding 2 pistols. And then they get in the trap and they wait for Bigfoot. Then Bigfoot attacks them and there's like roaring and they're like, no, the Bushman, he got me. And they start shooting. And they're like, he's dragging me away. Little Bear, help me. And then it's just, oh, it's so good. It's such a bad show that it's so good. Like, oh, and it's like the horrible 3D rendition. And they're like, allegedly, these creatures, it looks like this and this. Common in the Alaskan mythology. Like, it's just, they make the most worst 3D renditions. I absolutely love it. But enough yapping. Enough yapping. It is time we actually get to the meat and potatoes of this stream. We've been yapping for what? 31? I take pride in that. I spent 31 minutes talking about Bigfoot and I wasn't even trying. So now we are going to watch Cryptids. Okay. Oh, this one. We just close this one right here. And we're gonna go over here to yes. Close window. Okay. All right. So we're gonna pause. Or wait, what song is playing? That's nice. Okay. All right. We're gonna pause our little funky music, and we're going to our video reactions. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, guys. And then we're gonna go to our YouTubes. And we're gonna play this.
Some things are better done by someone else. Fiverr offers freelancers and customer service, personalized marketing, AI, and so much more. Visit Fiverr today and make the most out of your business.
By the way, how's the audio? Can you hear
many
it?
different creatures, but legends have been stirring in this beautiful state about odd sightings of not so normal creatures. Flying beasts landing on cars and attacking people, figures that stand on hind legs that resemble
Holy.
a molting donkey, and
Holy
giant behemoths
shit,
that lurk
guys.
beneath the murky depths.
Oh, let me check some real
With this
quickly.
iceberg chart recording a majority of the sightings in Texas,
Okay.
we will take a deeper dive into each. From the infamous Chupacabra to the
Oh.
elusive Houston Batman.
The
Texas is home to
the
some of the
Houston
most
Batman?
intriguing legends in cryptozoology. But what exactly is a cryptid? Simply put, cryptids are creatures whose existence is claimed but not scientifically proven. They
Exactly.
straddle the line between myth and
What the
reality,
fuck is
shrouded in local
that?
rumors and eyewitness accounts that defy conventional explanations. Texas, with its sprawling landscapes, dense forests, and vast deserts, provides the perfect backdrop for a
Bro, I
multitude of
love
these
these type of
cryptid beings.
videos. I eat this shit
Oh,
up,
and for
man.
those who somehow still don't know what an iceberg chart is, basically the top levels of this chart are the more well-known cryptids.
The goat,
but as
man.
you get
The
deeper,
Texas
entries
Stilt
get more
Walker.
obscure and even downright creepy. Anyways, I hope you
Oh,
all
La
enjoy the video
Llorona.
and subscribe if
Hey,
you'd like
bro.
to see more content.
La
like
Llorona's
this.
weird. Real. Look, Sasquatch. See the black guy? What Hogzilla? Oh,
Tier 1 starts with the Chupacabra. The Chupacabra is a cryptid known for its attacks on livestock, including chickens, goats, and farm animals. It has been reported in the southwestern United States, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. There are two common versions of the Chupacabra, the true Chupacabra and the candid type, also known as blue dogs. The first known attacks occurred in Puerto Rico in 1995, with 8 sheep found dead and 3 puncture wounds in their chests. Authorities attribute the killings to a known predator, possibly a fox. However, some have recognized similarities to cattle mutilations in the American Southwest. In 2010, an alleged Chupacabra was shot and killed in Hood County, Texas.
I
Texas
remember
A&M
that.
University scientists found it to be a coyote-dog hybrid with mange and internal parasites. The Sasquatch. The Sasquatch is a hairy, large humanoid that some believe to live in northwestern.
How can you, Violet? How can you not look at that and say that's not real? Look at that. The low poly image, the 1920s aesthetic. That has to be
States and
real.
Western Canada. It's more commonly referred to as Bigfoot, and there have been quite a few sightings in Texas. Black-eyed children.
Oh, these are
Black-eyed
terrifying.
children, often abbreviated as BEKs, are a modern urban legend phenomenon. They are typically described as children, often between the ages of 6 and 16, with pale skin and solid black eyes, devoid of any whites or pupils. These children are said to appear unexpectedly, usually in secluded areas, and often ask for help or to be let into someone's home or vehicle. The origins of this urban legend are tied back to the supposed first sighting of these creatures in Abilene, Texas. Brian Bethel, a resident of Abilene, described encountering 2 such children in 1966, and later described an unrelated person having a similar experience in Portland, Oregon. The phenomenon rose to popularity in the 80s via tabloids and newspapers.
Okay, but he's not giving warning. With the black-eyed children, the moment if they appear on your doorstep and they ask to be let in, they cannot come inside your house unless you allow them to, and you don't want them inside your house. That's all I gotta say.
Hogzilla.
Oh my god! Jeez! Look at that hog! I want to go hog hunting one day, but God, the more I speak, the more country I sound. Oh, gee. Look at that!
Gigantic pig that used to roam from Georgia to Texas. What makes Hogzilla different from all the other Texas cryptids is that it was proven to exist. The
Dude, that is absolutely insane. Wait, probably skip that.
hog was hunted.
There's blood there.
To be a hybrid of a domestic pig and wild hog. Skinwalker. Native American legends often depict a skinwalker as a supernatural creature, or witch, with the ability to transform into any desired creature. They often wear the pelt of an animal, which is not used in modern times. Many Native Americans dislike the appearances of skinwalkers in modern media due to superstition and fear of these creatures hunting down those who mention them.
Yeah, if you see their name, it gets power.
La Llorona.
That is real
La
though.
Llorona
La Llorona
is
is
a cryptid
weird.
based on a
Real.
Mexican urban legend. The origins are unknown, but it's said it was popularized in a 1940s folk song. She has entirely white skin, a white dress, black hair, and a slack jaw. The original story goes that she, for reasons ranging from a cheating husband to downright insanity, drowned her children in a river, then drowned herself out of grief. Another story goes that she didn't want her cheating husband and his wife to have her children, so she drowned them and then herself as well, but she couldn't move on to the afterlife. It's said that she roams the river banks of Latin America, weeping and dragging passerby into the water to drown them. She has also been supposedly spotted in Texas and other parts of the North American Southwest. The legend itself has been around since the 16th century.
So one thing is, she goes around the banks and she's saying, "Mis hijos, mis hijos," basically saying, "My children, they're dead." Like, stuff like that. Make this look bigger.
Jackalope. The jackalope is a mythical Northern American animal.
Wait, they're not real?
Described as a jackrabbit with antelope horns, or
But they're
two
real.
antlers, and sometimes a pheasant's tail. The name is a combination of jackrabbit and antelope, and the tails of jackalopes may have been inspired by sightings of rabbits infected with the Shope papilloma virus, which causes tumors.
Eee. Oh boy.
Lake Travis alligators. Throughout the history of Lake Travis in Texas, many have reported seeing alligators in the lake, but no one ever had concrete evidence of their existence. Eventually, a deceased specimen of these dubbed phantom alligators was eventually found, confirming the existence of the alligators. However, it gets more interesting. Other outlandish incidents have occurred at this lake, including dogs and people being dragged beneath the surface to their deaths, or UFOs being spotted above the lake by over 20
UFOs?
witnesses. Phantom big cats. Phantom cats, also known as alien big cats,
Phantom
are large
text?
cats which allegedly appear in regions outside their indigenous range.
Sticking
They
out
have had
your
many
cat
sightings
for
around
the
the world, but many of the
Rizzler.
sightings occur in parts of Texas. Fook monster. The
What?
Fook monster is a Sasquatch-like creature said to haunt the network of creeks extending from the Sulphur River bottoms in southern Arkansas to the small town of Fook. Over the years, the creature has been seen by countless people, including respected citizens, experienced hunters, famous musicians,
See?
and even police officers. The newspaper accounts of the early 1970s
Why are
were
half of these
probably
monsters
insane,
from
but
Texas?
citing reports
Texas
did
is
not
big,
stop.
dude.
Near
Texas
the
is
small
pretty
town
big.
of Fook, southeast of Texarkana, people are still
Look,
reporting encounters
We
with
got
this mysterious
DLC
creature,
Violet
even
for the
today.
Bigfoot.
The ivory-billed woodpecker, one of the
Wait.
largest woodpeckers in North America.
Wait, how
was
is
native
that?
to the southeastern United States,
How is that a
particularly
cryptid?
Arkansas and Texas. It was native to pines and hardwood, and primarily ate seeds, fruits, and insects. Due to heavy logging, the species' population diminished and was almost extinct in North America. Despite being officially classified as extinct in both North America and Cuba, there have been numerous sightings across the southern United States. In 2004, a male ivory-billed woodpecker was confirmed in Big Woods, Arkansas, and in 2005, numerous sightings and recordings were made in the Florida Panhandle.
So Texas
A
is pretty
unique
big.
subspecies of the
We
ivory-billed
were
woodpecker
supposed
exists
to
in
be the
mountains of
biggest
Cuba,
state until we
which
got
may or may not be
Alaska.
extinct.
Alaska doesn't
The
count.
woodpecker is widely popular,
It's
and
most of it's
enthusiasts
uninhabited.
flock to Arkansas to find it. But it is classified as a cryptid because it is thought by many to be extinct, but may still live in the deep forests of the southern United States.
Audio real quickly. Whoop.
East Texas
Okay.
blowdown. In
Lower.
1998, a quote-unquote freak wind blew down an estimated 4 million trees throughout East Texas. Wind speed was hurricane force between 70 and 100 miles
Oof.
per hour, with gusts up to 150 miles per hour. It's speculated that the jet stream dipped to the surface of the Earth, but that requires an outside force acting on it first, such as the Earth's electromagnetic field. However, many rumors connect the blowdown to UFOs.
Yeah, that
After
doesn't
extensive
make
research
sense.
on this event, I found some government documents regarding the reforestation process to remedy the tree damage. Marfa lights.
Ooh.
The Marfa Lights, also known as the Marfa Ghost
Are there ones in
Lights, are
Galveston?
observed near U.S. Route 67 on Mitchell Flat east of Marfa, Texas. They have gained fame as onlookers attribute them to paranormal phenomena such as ghosts, UFOs, or will-o'-the-wisps. Scientific research suggests that most, if not all, are atmospheric reflections, automobile headlights, or campfires. The lights are most often reported as distant spots of brightness, distinguishable from ranch lights and automobile headlights on Highway 67. The light colors are usually yellow-orange, but other hues, including green, blue, and red, are also seen.
Yeah.
The first historical record of the Marfa Lights was in 1883, when Robert Reed Ellison saw a flickering light while driving cattle through Pisano Pass. Other settlers reported seeing the lights in 1885, but no ashes or other evidence of a campsite were found. Monitoring stations were put in place starting in 2003, and an average of 9.5 lights are identified on 5 nights per year.
So on that topic, there is a city in Texas called Galveston, right? And so if you don't know the little history about this, back in the early 1900s, a hurricane, the worst hurricane I think human history, happened in Galveston, and they warned people. All right, but the thing about Americans, and even more about Southerners, they're stubborn. Oh, are they stubborn? So these people, they went to the beach, and the hurricane happened, and all hell broke loose. This thing destroyed the city, um, and it in doing so, um, they a lot of people died, so it's a cemetery, all that, like funerals, whatever. And so now that cemetery is really haunted, and just like those lights that appear um at night. And then I think a nun died protecting orphans that day, and I think she haunts one of the hotels. And then I think I have family members who went fishing in that same area years ago, like in the early, like the late 90s, and they said like one time they saw like a ghost cow there or something. It was interesting.
Old Alton Bridge. Old Alton Bridge, also known as Goatman's Bridge, is a historic iron bridge that connects Denton and Copper Canyon. Built in 1884, it was originally used for carrying horses and automobiles over Hickory Creek. The bridge is the subject of several ghostly stories, featuring a vengeful ghost. The bridge also features a legend that revolves around a creature called the Goatman. The legend is based on the story of Oscar Washburn, a black goat farmer who moved his family to a residence north of the bridge. In 1938, Klansmen and the local government kidnapped Washburn from his family. They supposedly tied a noose to hang him from the side of the bridge.
Oh,
However, when he fell and they looked down, the noose was empty and he was nowhere to be seen. Out of fear and anger, they went back to his house and murdered his family.
oh my
Locals
God.
warned that people crossing the bridge at night without headlights will be met by the Goatman. Visitors of this bridge have also been reported to have been touched, grabbed, and had rocks thrown at them. Living dinosaurs. There was little to no information based on this entry, but I did find that many people have reported seeing dinosaurs, such as velociraptors and other
Okay.
non-human species.
Okay, come
As
on,
much as I tried
guys.
to research
We're
this topic,
pushing this.
I couldn't find too much on it.
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
No.
Lake Worth Goatman. The Lake Worth monster, or
Ooh.
Goatman, is a creature named after its home in Lake Worth. The cryptid is said to be a hideous mix of man and goat with long fingers covered in hard scales. The only known
Scales?
picture of the goat-like monster shows it to be covered from head to toe with thick cotton-colored fur. A man named John Raycart claimed the Lake Worth monster attacked his car after jumping out of the tree on top of it. A police investigation was conducted, but no evidence was found. Elmendorf Beast. The Elmendorf Beast, a coyote allegedly responsible for livestock attacks in Elmendorf, Texas, has been a subject of debate. In 2004, the Elmendorf Beast was killed by a local rancher named Devin McAnally, weighing 20 pounds with a severe overbite and unusual blue, hairless skin. San Antonio zoo experts couldn't identify the creature, but based on its skull, they speculated it was a Mexican hairless dog. At the University of California, They eventually confirmed the animal was a coyote with demodectic or sarcoptic mange, not originally hairless. 2 similar carcasses were found in Texas, both coyotes with severe cases of mange. DNA gathered from the carcass was inconclusive due to environmental degradation. Crocodile. The crocodile is a
I don't know any
mythical
of these.
originating from India and Ethiopia, with a large body and a unique appearance. Its head resembles a hyena, and its fur ranges from orangish yellow to brownish black. The creature can mimic human speech and lure its victims by pretending to be someone in trouble. It uses a voice that the victim recognizes, and sometimes calls the victim by their name, or includes personal information in its cry for help. Despite its resilience to damage, the crocodile can be overcome by conventional weapons. Crocodile can survive in any climate or terrain, but are most often found in areas with abundant herd animals, like sheep, cattle, or deer. They often make their lairs in caves and abandoned buildings. Some say their ability to mimic voices and use personal information suggests that they have some rudimentary telepathic ability. While they supposedly eat humans, they are equally satisfied with other forms of meat. Big Bird. The Big Bird is a mysterious flying cryptid
Big
that has
Bird?
been reported in Texas, particularly in rural and remote areas. It is
Rural?
often described as a large,
Rural.
winged creature,
Rural.
resembling a prehistoric
Rural.
pterosaur, or a massive
Rural.
bird with a wingspan larger
Can't
than
say
any
that.
known bird species. Sightings of this big bird have been reported for decades, with accounts dating back to the early 20th century. Witnesses have reported seeing the creature flying overhead or perched in trees, and some have reported encounters where the creature allegedly exhibited aggressive behavior or emitted strange noises. There are many theories and speculations about the Big Bird, ranging from misidentified birds to more speculative explanations
I say
involving
we
undiscovered
shoot it
or extinct
and we
species.
cook it.
The most well-known encounter of this big bird was when 2 men at the Rio Grande Valley saw something flying over them in January of 1976. It was encountered at least twice, and the witnesses reported it as being 5 feet tall, with large wings, often folding behind its back. It seemed to possess large red eyes on a gorilla-like face. One hunter also
Gorilla-like
reported
face?
a funny whistling sound before he was attacked by it. Black bear. Black bears historically inhabited much of Texas, but due to habitat loss and overhunting, their population declined significantly over the years.
Aww.
By the early 20th century, black bears were largely extirpated from the state. However, there have been occasional sightings of black bears in remote areas of Texas, particularly in the Big Bend area and the region near the border of Mexico. In recent years, there have been
Maybe
efforts
bears
to
over there.
reintroduce black bears to suitable habitats in Texas. These efforts include habitat conservation and restoration initiatives, as well as public education campaigns to promote coexistence between humans and bears. While black bears are not as common in Texas as some other states, there is potential for their population to recover with continued conservation efforts. For a long time, they were classified as a cryptid due to the sightings of them even after they were classified as extinct. Baker Hotel. The Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas, is renowned for its rich paranormal history. Built in 1929, the Baker Hotel was once a luxurious resort. Over the years, numerous reports of paranormal activity have emerged from the Baker Hotel. Guests and staff have reported sightings of apparitions, strange noises, and unexplained phenomena throughout the building. Some claim to have encountered the ghost of the hotel's original owner, T.B.
Oh.
Baker, as well as other spirits. The Baker Hotel sits
I'd be
atop a
so
natural
mad
mineral
if
water
like
spring,
I
which
died
was
and
once
now have to
believed
like
have
haunt the
healing
place that I
properties.
worked at.
Some believe that the energy from the springs contributes to the hotel's paranormal activity.
Like,
The Baker Hotel closed
let me
its doors in
leave.
1972 due to
Let me
financial
leave.
difficulties, but its paranormal reputation continued to grow. Surprisingly, the hotel is actually reopening its doors in spring 2026.
Oh,
Hill House. The house has historical ties to the Baker Hotel, functioning as a brothel during a period, with reported deaths on the property. The founder, William Barclay Kyle, was a Texas Ranger who battled Kiowa and Comanche Indians. It's said to be inhabited by 9 spirits, including a disfigured boy named Joshua. The house, a 3,800 square foot
Joshua,
Victorian mansion,
no!
is perfect for paranormal investigations, with reported phenomena like nausea, headaches, and encounters with malevolent spirits. The owners have decided to maintain it as a paranormal investigation site, open to the public, offering training and overnight stays for those who are interested. The
Raining.
ghosts, of course, are not confirmed to exist, however. Lady of White Rock Lake. For
Who?
decades, White Rock Lake has served as the perfect staycation destination for people of Dallas. Located just 20 minutes from the hustle and bustle of downtown, the serene shores of White Rock and the surrounding lake offer over 1,000 acres of recreational fun. However, According to local legend, White Rock is home to a frightening female apparition known as the Lady of the Lake. For nearly as long as the lake has been around, stories of passerby unwittingly picking up a passenger from the other side have circulated.
Lechuza, Sabine.
Lechuza.
Wah.
Lechuza are shape-shifting witches or spirits in Hispanic folklore, popular in Mexico and Texas. They appear as a human-sized bird and have sold their souls to the devil in exchange for magical powers. At night, they transform into these beasts that look similar to Greek mythology's harpies. They then fly through the night in search of prey, making strange whistles or the sound of an infant crying.
They did
Those
the
who attempt to determine where the
they
sound
did
come
the
from
like
are at
Kylie
risk
Jenner
of
lip
becoming
challenge.
Lechuza's dinner. In other versions of the legend, the Lechuza is the spirit of a murdered witch who returns as a bird monster to seek revenge, or is the vengeful spirit of a woman who has returned from the grave to torment the living. In modern times, most reported run-ins with the witch bird involves her swooping down at cars, driving on deserted roads at night. These beasts
Mostly-
possess supernatural powers, such as summoning storms, shapeshifting into bird monsters at night, and are able to disguise their voices to lure in people. Hearing the cry of the Lechuza is believed to be an omen that someone in the household will die.
Outsource, 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 outsource.
Okay,
outsource
lady.
Freelance experts.
Okay, so I don't know much about Lechuza, other than a lot of, at least from my culture, they don't like owls because they consider owls a Lechuza, right? And owls are like a bad omen. Like if you see an owl, that means like it's like what they said that death is like close by. Owls or ravens. And so like I saw this clip of this I was on like Spanish TikTok and they it is popular belief that a lechuza or an owl or whatever, right? That type of spirit is one of the reasons why there's it's called SID, sudden infant death. Like when an infant just dies randomly, they in at least to my knowledge, Hispanic culture links it together. It's that a lechuza comes in and does that, and like, yeah, that's my knowledge on it.
Frank Shaw's Gargoyle. In 1986, Frank Shaw,
Why he built like
a NASA
that?
archivist at Houston Johnson Space Center, claimed to have had an encounter with a winged, jet-black, malevolent creature. The details of this encounter were revealed by his daughter, Desiree, in 2004. Desiree testified that she first realized something was wrong when her father returned home late one night. Shaw's tardiness and apprehensive demeanor made them dismayed, but they eventually comforted him. Shaw described the creature as a jet-black humanoid with a large cape, draped across its shoulders, and two massive, bat-like wings.
Brother, I
sticking
think
out
you
of
saw
either side
some
of the fabric,
demons.
or perhaps wrinkled flesh. This description bears a passing resemblance to similar cryptids, such as the Mothman, Owlman of Cornwall, and possibly the Big Bird, which terrorized
Possibly
residents
the
of
Big
South
Bird.
Texas' Rio Grande Valley just a decade prior. Shaw told his family that he had not only seen this creature, but it had stared directly down at him. The gargoyle seemed to unfurl its wings, making a crackling noise as it took flight in powerful, howling gusts. At this point, Shaw ran to his vehicle. In his terror, he fumbled with his keys, unlocked the car door, dove inside, started the engine, and drove into the blackness of the night. He was terrified to see what was behind him, if anything. Despite initial skepticism, Shaw's family rallied behind their patriarch, believing that his tale was the truth. Shaw's family told him not to tell his superiors about this incident, so his credibility or sanity will not be called into question. But eventually
That's
he
smart.
did contact his immediate supervisor.
Why?
Much to his delight, he was not met with mockery, but instead was informed that he was not the first person to experience this. Apparently, his boss revealed that a secret file had been opened on the creature just a few months prior to Shaw's sighting. The supervisor stated that the file had been created in response to the gruesome deaths of two of the base's German shepherds. The corpses of the mutilated canines had been discovered in exactly the same spot where Shaw had seen the gargoyle. Following his confession, Shaw's story made its way up to the chain of command until it apparently came to the attention of some NASA officials who, in classic Men in Black fashion, decided to interrogate the witness. According to his daughter
NASA?
Desiree, her father was intensely grilled by what she referred to as NASA security people who were flown in from somewhere in Arizona.
Why would
These
NASA
people made it clear
come?
to Shaw that it would be in his best interest and his family's best interest to refrain from telling his bizarre story to anyone else.
Why
While there have been
NASA?
no new public reports of this entity in over 2.5 decades, which may be due, in no small part, to NASA's policy of silence, there seems to be a fairly good chance that this creature is still lurking. Sabine Thing.
Sabine
Residents
thing.
of Sabine reported seeing a gray, ape-like creature in the area's dense forest. The local newspaper dubbed the creature as the Sabine Thing. Not much is known otherwise about this creature, but many believe the creature is connected to the Fook monster.
Okay.
Wampus Cat.
Wampus.
Cat, known to some as the Cherokee Death Cat, is a creature from American folklore. Its origins can be traced back to lumberjack tales based on the local Cherokee myths. Most sightings describe the creature to be a large panther-sized cat capable of walking on its hind legs. By all accounts, the Wampus Cat is not very dangerous to humans and preys on fish for most of their meals. Wampus cats have recently found their way into modern culture, with references in several popular franchises, including Harry Potter. Lake Tawakoni State Park sheet webbing.
Ooh.
A massive spider web was discovered in Lake Tawakoni
Oh
State
my
Park, Texas,
God.
among several acres of oak elm woodlands. The web attracted over 3,000 visitors over Labor Day weekend. The web's origin was initially believed to be a mass dispersal event, where millions of tiny spiders spin silk threads to ride air currents in a phenomenon known as ballooning. Texas Parks and Wildlife Department biologist Mike Quinn collected a sample of spiders from the web and took them to Texas A&M University for analysis. He described the web as sheet webbing due to its large area of trees, more typical of a funnel spider web. This didn't stop conspiracy theorists from theorizing a giant spider had made it.
No,
Eventually,
why?
A heavy overnight rainstorm knocked down most of the web.
What? No, just like,
Farm to
are people that stupid? Like, hold on, I need to get up and stretch. But they think a giant spider did that? No. If it was a giant spider, there would be, bigger webs. You can obviously tell that thing, right? That there's a bunch of smaller webs. So there's no way, a giant spider would do that because it couldn't fit on those small webs. It really couldn't. People believe everything nowadays. Wait 1 sec. Big stretch. All right, let's continue. FM Road 6. Right. Put on comfier shirt.
to Market Road 666. Route 666, also known as the Devil's Highway, is a deserted road that spans 3 states, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. It is over 300 kilometers long and runs north to south from Monticello to Gallup, passing through Navajo Nation and Shiprock. The road is entirely paved and is not recommended for winter travel due to its remote nature, high elevations, snow, and black ice. It was later renamed
Black
to US
ice?
Route 491 to distance itself from the number of man mentioned in the Bible. The road has a very long, bizarre history of weirdness, bad luck, inexplicable accidents, ghosts, apparitions, and other unexplained phenomena. Some of the strange activities witnessed included a haunted truck, the girl in the white dress, weird lights, hellhounds, disappearing
Hellhounds.
drivers, skinwalkers, or even a car dubbed as Satan's Sedan,
Satan's Sedan.
the Beast of Bear Creek. The legend goes that a Native
That
American
just
shaman
looks like
believed
a
to be wolf,
persona, though.
sought revenge on white settlers who had decimated his tribe by transforming into a wolf persona and roaming the countryside at night, killing
Babe.
livestock and settlers.
Hold on, I gotta
The story is
transform.
unique because many white settlers in Kimball County, particularly those near the old town of Clio, believed it to be true. Today, the Kimball County area is a source of strange creature reports, with modern-day witnesses reporting mountain lions, black panthers, and hairless bluish-gray canines, often dubbed as the aforementioned chupacabras.
I just think of like that
Lost
one.
livestock is often
I think of that one image of the dude. It's like that meme image of like the werewolf who's like ripping off his shirt, and it's like, "Babe, no, I want a grilled cheese sandwich" or something like that. This image just kind of
screams and howls are dismissed as coyotes.
gives off that vibe.
No one has reported a sighting of the Beast of Bear Creek for a long time, as the town of Clio is now almost a ghost town. The
Oh.
only remaining structures in the settlement are the Clio General Store and the Bear Creek Community Center.
Ooh, we're almost at the bottom. Let me see. Beast of Bears, Bear King of Marble Falls, Donkey Lady of San Antonio, El Cucuy, El Cucuy, Lake Granbury, Oh One Eye.
The Beast of Bears, or the Bear King of Marble Falls. The Bear King of Marble Falls is a creature sighted in Marble Falls, Texas in 1901. The Kickatoo Indians had a legend about a bear man who ruled over all the bears in the region. On May 15, 1901, Raimi Arland, a local girl, was abducted by the Bear King. The girl was reportedly
Yeah.
screaming, followed by something else, sounding like a roaring panther. Her family realized that she was gone, and they assembled a search party, but they were unsuccessful. The next day, Raimi was found wandering aimlessly in the woods, claiming she was grabbed by the Bear King, who brought her to a cave in the mountains. Raimi waited for the creature to fall asleep before escaping. Local men tracked the creature and found its cave, where they confronted it. The creature growled like a panther and beat its chest. The locals were hesitant to kill it, but eventually shot it after it charged at them. No description was made for what they did with its body.
What?
Please don't skip and watch the end. Just 1 minute and just $1.
Ozark Howler. The Ozark Howler is a legendary creature believed to inhabit remote areas of Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. It is bear-sized, with a thick body, stocky legs, black shaggy hair, glowing red eyes, and prominent horns. Its cry is often described as a combination of a wolf's howl, an elk's bugle, and the laugh of a hyena. Forrest Galante, a wildlife biologist, and his wife Jessica believe that the Ozark Howler is actually the North American red wolf. Cryptozoologists have speculated that the creature might be a misidentified or unrecognized big cat, while anthropologists and folklorists have speculated that it might be a branching off of the black dog of death found in British folklore. The
Wait,
Ozark Howler
Black Dog of Death? Violet, explain. What lore have you not shared about Great Britain?
has been described as a dark omen predicting the death of those who have seen it. Some biologists believe it is
Oh wait,
an
never
omen,
mind. He's
dark
explained it.
omen predicting the death of found in British folklore. The Ozark Howler has been described as a dark omen predicting the death of those who have seen it. Some biologists believe it is
Don't
an
know it.
omen that is either
For
mutated into a new
shame.
subspecies or a hybrid of a mountain lion and an unknown creature. Donkey Lady of San Antonio. The Donkey Lady is a legend from San Antonio, Texas, about a woman who is part donkey. The only known sightings are misidentifications of domesticated donkeys. The legend suggests that a woman was a burn victim who healed with black-hooved hands and a melty, saggy face, resembling a donkey's. Another legend suggests that she had a pet donkey she loved so much that after it was taken away by neighbors, the donkey was shoved into the river over a bridge. The
Oh,
woman's
poor
ghost is said
donkey.
to haunt the bridge, which is named after her. The creature is believed to inhabit the Donkey Lady Bridge, built in 1970, which crosses the Medina River. In the 1960s, locals claimed to have sighted the creature wailing or crying, but it was determined to be a domestic donkey. Donkey hoof prints have also been found, but they are likely hoof prints of a domestic donkey as well.
Yeah, it's a donkey.
El Cucuy.
El Cucuy.
El Cucuy
El Cucuy, not Cucuy. Cucuy. Cucuy.
is a mythical ghost-like creature that appears in Spanish and Portuguese-speaking countries, similar to the boogeyman. It is believed to visit the home of disobedient children at night and take them away. In Latin American cultures, El Cucuy is an imaginary creature of the dark, haunting children and adults alike. The creature is said to be a male who visits homes at night and takes away children. With the more naughty the child's behavior, the more hungry El Cucuy becomes. In Mexican folklore, El Cucuy is a small, hideous, hairy creature with glowing red eyes, big ears like a bat, and a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth like a barracuda. Lake Granbury Ole One Eye.
What is
Lake
this?
Granbury, constructed in 1969 as a dam for the Brazos River, is home to a wide variety of fish, including catfish, bass, gar, and sunfish. The legend goes that One Eye,
Ooh.
a resident lake monster, is described as dark gray with a long neck and a hump-like back. The Brazos River has a long history of sightings of huge fish and mysterious creatures, with Native Americans and early Spaniards talking of something terrible lurking in the river. In 2010, a huge gar was hauled out of its waters. Accounts such as these have given rise to the theory that the association between lake,
There's a
dam,
giant
and
fish
river
out there.
has somehow allowed the monsters to find their way into Lake Granbury.
So, we've reached the final thing. I think we have. Oh no, wait, one more. Oh, I was like, why is it not going?
Mountain
Oh, it's
Boomer.
paused.
The mountain boomer is a small-sized, by dinosaur standards, bipedal dinosaur.
Why is there
evolved
so
from the
many
Thesiosaurus
dinosaurs in
ornithopod.
Texas?
Female specimen are generally 6 to 7 feet, while smaller males are usually 3 to 5 feet tall. The males have a more vivid coloration than the females. The mountain boomers are found everywhere, but tend to nest in the more remote mountain regions, where they sleep in caves and burrows. It is extremely fast, swift, and agile, easily being able to outrun a human or other predators. The creatures are shy and reclusive, fleeing as defense, and are reported to have a strange wolf-like howl. Lizard Man of Honey Grove.
Dark
The
Soul
Lizard Man of Honey
people.
Grove is a fascinating but elusive figure in local folklore. Allegedly, this creature roams the area around Honey Grove, Texas, taking on a humanoid form with distinct reptile features. Descriptions of this figure vary, but witnesses often report sightings of a very tall creature covered in scales and displaying very bright glowing eyes. Some accounts claim that the lizard man exhibits aggressive behavior towards intruders or those who venture too close to its supposed territory. One specific encounter had a person driving, and supposedly the creature leapt onto the car hood, only to fly off when the person began swerving to lose it. Houston Batman. One of the iconic sightings of
What
a
is
mysterious
this?
creature in the UFO area, that of the so-called Houston Batman, was made on June 18, 1953. Hilda Walker, Judy Myers, and Howard Phillips saw a man with wings like a bat sitting in the branches of a nearby tree, watching them. After a few moments, the area was lit up and the creature was gone. There were many sightings following this one, and no one knows if it was truly just a hoax, mass hysteria, or if something was out there.
We've reached the abyss. We've made it. What? Dominex? Pseudo Goat? Or the Texas Stilt Walker?
Dominic's pseudo-goat, also known as the rose-horned clawed goat, was a unique cryptid reported from the United States in the 1850s. The goat was owned by a Comanche woman in Texas, who described it as about the size of a cat, but with the form and appearance of a goat. Its
Okay.
rose-colored horns and glossy fur were a unique feature. People today note that the goat resembles a supposedly extinct Chalicothere, except in size, and many others believe it was a genetic anomaly. Texas Stilt Walkers. Texas stilt walkers,
Ooh.
also known as striders, are massive cryptids primarily found in the southwest United States, particularly Texas. They have a very thin frame, elongated legs, and piercing, headlamp-like eyes. They have also been reported to scale vertical cliffs with ease, like a giant spider climbing a wall. Some believe the creature has a supernatural relevance, similar to the bipedal nightcrawler or the caramel creature.
The
Some view
caramel?
the creature as evil or predatory, but all known eyewitnesses had peaceful interactions or observed the creature without aggression.
Look, he seems chill.
Possible explanations include an undiscovered species, misidentified or out-of-place animals, hoaxes, or just a tall tale.
Is that it?
While most of these are very interesting proposals of supposed creatures, it is wishful thinking to think that most of these are legitimate sightings. I'd love to believe that all of these are truly
Yeah.
undiscovered species, as much as the next guy. But at the end of the day, these are just stories that were claimed to have happened. It is fun to theorize and entertain these stories, however, and I hope one day we can discover something amazing, close to the wonders these encounters speak of. This was Conspirasam. Thank you for joining in, and I hope y'all have a wonderful night.
I love cryptids.
Stare all you want, but I won't let you touch my tail.
I'm good. Let's see what this is. Mexico's most disturbing cult. Reddit Skinwalker encounters. No. Cryptids from every state. Let me see. You know what? It's never a reaction stream without Papa Meat. Let's see. What the? Android. Funny thing. American style. They can be hot dogs, can't you? Ew. The Ghost Lights of Appalachia. I love Wendigo.
Hello everybody, today I'm talking to you from a place known as Wiseman's View, one of the most beautiful points in all of Appalachia. Just behind me you can see a landmark known as Table Rock, and the gorge that exists between this point and that one has one of the most intriguing mysteries in the natural world. This view is a testament to the Earth's majesty, and the age and colors of these hills tell us that whenever God painted the world,
I still don't believe in
the rush
Bigfoot.
must have began in Appalachia.
I
During the day,
I
these
think
hills are home
you
to one of
forgot the
planet's
word
greatest
yet,
beauties,
Violet.
but at night,
I still don't
it's
believe
home
in
to one of
Bigfoot
Appalachia's
yet.
greatest monsters. What you're seeing now is the unexplained Brown Mountain
This is cool, but
Lights.
there's
The Brown Mountain Lights of North Carolina are described as a sort of shooting star or floating spirit. Stories of these ghost lights have haunted the region for years.
yeah. Let's look at this
To
one.
this day,
Look at Finding Bigfoot. This is one of my favorite things. Look, see, this is. Oh wait, Furious Creature screams. Hold on. Oh
All right,
God!
guys.
Why did
They
he
say it's
scare
time to
me?
Put up or shut up. I'm saying it's time to put up or shut up too. Did you hear that, honey?
Yeah.
Okay. You've been saying time to put up or shut up. I'm saying it's time to put up or shut up too. Did you hear that, honey?
Yeah.
Your what?
Okay, here's what's going on, guys. As you can see, my beautiful bride, Giggly Girl,
Giggly
and
girl.
myself are out here working this morning. She is potting up oak trees that we're growing from acorns.
In the words of my grandfather, who's a huge believer in Sasquatch and has taken me, my brothers and cousins, on camping trips to find Sasquatch. What a goated grandfather.
We've put thousands and thousands.
After I showed him this video,
of acorns
there
in
is
this
no
certain
doubt in my
farm,
mind
okay? But now here's what
that a
we're
big
really doing, and
that
here's what you're doing.
that is a
I'm just gonna tell you
Bigfoot
right now,
hollowing back at
our
them.
phone battery's low, it might die.
I have
We've only
also
seen
had
about
my
12 minutes
encounters
worth
with
of
Sasquatch
recording out of
that has
this.
convinced me enough to believe that there's definitely
And watch
something
back
out
here.
there. Look, Violet, another
Listen.
one who's had similar
Here's
experiences.
what you're doing. You are
For
giving
inst-
timestamps. You're saying
For
specifically what
instances,
you saw and specifically
when we
what
were
you heard.
camping one
As you
summer,
can see,
hold on, he's yapping too much.
here
Hold on,
is
brother.
this very huge red oak log that's been
So,
fallen for about 20
For
years.
instance, when
Here's some
we were
giant
camping one
pieces
afternoon,
there I cut off
we
from
went
just
to
this
go
morning.
get some water from a
Hopefully
nearby
not
spring.
not just
There was a loud knock. Yeah, see? The loud knock I mentioned, a loud knock on a tree in a hill close by. And a little to the right of the noise, there was two deer that started walking the opposite direction, but another knock sounded from the right, sending the deers into the other direction. The knock started to get closer. We think there were two Sasquatches trapping these deers to eat, but we were well on our way back to our camp. Goated comment. That makes sense.
Wow, she's actually listening, okay?
It's just
So,
BS. No,
just listen
no.
and look.
That's
watch
what
the trees.
that's what they said
If
about
you see
Chupacabra.
something, please tell us what and where, okay? We're gonna try to get it about 12 minutes. I'm going on the outside of the fence. I'm gonna keep working up this firewood.
We're going here.
Some things are better done
Oh, it's
by
Martha
someone
Stewart.
else. Fiverr offers
Everybody shut up and listen. Okay, I mean that's stretching it a bit. I don't know if that's. I mean, I can.
Did you
Sound
hear
like
that?
it's screaming at me, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It sounds like. That could be
As
anything.
soon as I start this, no?
Yeah.
It sounded like screaming, but it sounded more like an airplane. Goes over here. You're right, Violet. It could be anything. It could be a Bigfoot. Too far off in the distance.
Looks like it might have moved back in. Do you hear that?
Yeah. That's the first sound that we hear. That sounds creepy.
Man, avoided using IRL squares and circles. NPC activity. Let's see. Oh, it's Bobo. Look, this is Bobo. This is Bobo. I love this show.
People would probably be surprised to know that I spend a lot of time alone. I like visiting people and I like seeing my friends and all that, but I spend a lot of time alone.
Same, Bobo.
At least we have a chance to find tracks.
Hold that camera in those rapids. I grew up in the South Bay of LA, down by the beach. So I grew up like a typical SoCal skate, surf, punk kid. Luckily I had a dad that loved the outdoors and would take us camping. So I did get out in the woods, you know, like Kings Canyon, Yosemite. We drove cross country several times. But the first time that I distinctly was like, there's no doubt about what I'm hearing right now. There was a meadow around me. There was one little thicket of trees, and I was sitting at the edge of that thicket, and it came into that tree line and just started roaring. It sounded like an elephant, like just rah, like smashing, snapping trees. I just remember like just crapping my pants. Like
It's crapping my pants.
My passion's outside of squatching, surfing, diving, fishing, sailing. I like all that stuff. It just blows my mind when I talk to people and they tell me I'm interested, but like I don't want to let people know about it, or I don't let people know what I'm doing, or I wouldn't want to go out and like ask, you know, I tell people just go out in a rural area. You know, a lot of people in the city are like, where do I start? What do I do? Like, just go out in the woods somewhere and go to the local diner, gas station, start talking to the locals. Where have you heard Bigfoot stories around here? Where have you heard Bigfoots live around? Even if you don't believe in Bigfoot, when you've heard about them, where do people say they live? And just go out there and check it out. Like, who cares if people?
Bobo's so goated, bro. The man claims to encounter a female Sasquatch. A squatchy calls in the boggy. It returns the call. Hold on. As a kid, that intro would always scare me. This.
Hey, Lyle, do you do any Squatch calls?
I can, you know, I'm an amateur at it compared to you guys, but I can do it, I guess.
Renee, Cliff, you copy?
Yeah, go ahead, Bobs.
We're gonna see Lyle do a
The Squatch calls.
I like that.
Come on, man. Put some more of your throat into it.
Sounded kind of ghoulish. I know.
Yeah, it did. Use your throat. Use your chest.
Listen.
Oh, wait. It was a knock.
I heard a possible knock that direction.
Oh. Ooh. Renee, did you just do a knock?
We're listening. Cliff heard a possible knock.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, let me see. These. Is it? It's the team's most compelling evidence.
See, now
This will convert you, Violet. This will
killing me
convert
because you're
you.
holding a cast.
And can Cliff walk up and grab that cast from you, like I know he wants to do?
Yep. And you could actually see the 5 toes in it.
That's a great one.
You can tell it's fresh too.
This was just casted yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yep.
Yesterday,
Still hasn't
Chad.
dried out yet.
Yeah. So what led to the casting of this thing?
A friend of mine was out fishing in a canoe, and he seen this figure walking in the water, and he started getting scared because this thing wouldn't go away. So it held him there out in the water for hours, and then he called me the next day. So I casted a couple of tracks. One turned out pretty good. The other one was too wet, couldn't cast that one.
I can't wait to see the exact spot where Don cast this
Also,
footprint.
once
But
come out-
first, we're going to talk to Sam, the guy who
Look
saw
how much
that
Bobo
spot.
has lost weight. That's Bobo. He's lost so much weight. That's goated.
I can't wait to see the exact spot where Don cast this footprint. But first, we're going to talk to Sam, the guy who saw the Bigfoot that left this print.
This is where it happened.
Look at that lake.
A lot thicker cover than I originally had imagined.
This is probably the biggest part of the woods in our area. You got like 20 miles of square wilderness, no civilizations.
Inaccessible swamps.
Okay, well, if this is the spot, I want to hear the story directly from you. What happened? What were you doing? What did you see? Tell us the whole deal.
The plan was to come out and do some bass fishing in the lily pads right offshore here, and the fish were biting right away, and I was having a great time. So I cast
They were
it out
biting right
again.
away.
And as I set the hook, my lure flipped through and went by me. And as I turned to look back, I caught something in the corner of my eye moving on the shoreline, and it kind of turned and faced me. It was definitely a big white creature. I was very, very excited to get out here, and I actually, you know, videotaped and I came upon some pretty good tracks.
Oh, do you have it here?
Yeah, I sure do.
Can we take a look at it, please?
Sure. If you want to just press play. I see some deer tracks and stuff down here.
Okay.
Oh, there's a lot more water now.
There's some big tracks right there. Let's see. Holy.
Look.
Somebody needs
Look
to
at
get
that.
over here. Look at this, guys.
No bear can do that.
Look at that. You see holes in that thing? I do, man. I'm freaked out, dude. And then to make it worse, there's that perfect print.
Thanks for meeting me out here. And it's snowing.
It is snowing. I tried making it up there, and it's snowed in. Can't get to the spot where it was filmed.
Oh, man. Well, you know, I didn't get a chance to really look at the video. I'd like to look at it, have you go into more detail on what you saw that day.
Okay.
Let's pop underneath the back of the Jeep.
Every year that I come up here, I find tracks, but I saw this asleep in the tree with my binoculars, pulled out the camera and then tried to focus in on it.
What am I looking at?
I can see what you're talking about. I see what you're talking about, where the eyes are, and the nose, and the head, and where the shoulders would be.
Hold on.
Yeah, I definitely think
let's
that's,
go back. What do you mean by that?
The nose and the head, and where the shoulders would be. I can see what you're talking about. I see what you're talking about, where the eyes.
Is that the eyes?
Eyes are in the nose and the head, and where the shoulders would be.
Yeah, I definitely think that's
But it's shaped
a
too
juvenile
weird.
Bigfoot, in a tree, asleep.
I don't know about this one.
The only thing it could be doing, I mean, unless it's meditating.
Right.
So you said you were actually out looking for Bigfoot tracks.
All right, I found tracks, pulled out the camera, and
Oh, wow. Dude, that you can just first glance, because that's.
No, sorry. I was looking at his hands. I was like, I think this man has. I think he has vascular diseases.
Oh, wow.
Because of his hands. Or maybe they're just cold.
Dude, that you can just first glance, because that's a squatch. I can see clearly that is a
Vascular.
Bigfoot track. The heel, little toe going to the large toe. That's not a grizzly. You can't see any claw marks in front. Just the classic squat-shaped foot. That's a nice print.
I was impressed by it. You know, the width is what gets me.
Right. I can see why you came back to this spot.
It seems like every time I come up to this area, I do find tracks.
You know,
very
since
pretty
this is
place.
the first snow of the year. Now there might be fresh prints in the snow as we speak.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Do you have a spot that we could go look where you think there might be a good chance where they'd be cutting through, heading down slope?
Yeah, I do.
This video
You look so
turned out pretty
nervous.
compelling to me. I think we should use this bad weather to our advantage. Well, all right, I want to go check out this spot. I think they might be crossing down a low country and go look for some fresh tracks. With a fresh coat of snow in the mountains, it's going to be a lot easier to track a Bigfoot. They're going to be heading to a lower elevation, get out of this bad weather, and go look for some easier food. Well, it's plenty dark now, and who knows, with this first big heavy snow of the year, a couple of squatches went in lollygagging up there, and now they're moving down. Hopefully we run into a squatch tonight.
That would be neat. That would be luck.
All right, let's start moving down the hill and try to get down a little lower elevation out of this
Let's
snow.
see what we have here.
Squatching with George is great, man. This guy really knows the area. He's been up here over 30 years. He spends all his free time hiking around up here. I find inclement weather can be really good squatching. It's uncomfortable and it sucks, but the squatches aren't used to people out there going, yeah, in storms. They think it's another squatch if they're around.
To the prime Sasquatch.
This is just a perfect spot. Hey, you said you've heard them speaking that kind of Bigfoot language before?
Bigfoot language?
One time I was coming over a hill, and just before I got to the top, and it sounded like two women talking at the same time. As soon as I got to the top of the ridge, it just dead.
I've heard that 5, 6 times in my life, and it sounds almost like people you can tell it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Squatching in the snow sucks bad. I hate walking in the snow. It gets everything wet and cold, and worst of all, it freezes the therm, and it just doesn't work anymore.
Are you a YouTuber?
No.
Here's how you can grow your YouTube following.
Let go of me.
Even if you
We just can't use our Squatch knowledge to our advantage in these conditions. What do you think the Squatches would be eating if they were still up here?
Berries?
Still run around here.
Oh.
You know, I heard
Oh,
once of,
turkey sounds
this
so
lady
good right
found
now.
Mice wrapped up in grass.
Really?
Have you heard that?
No.
She had gone to pick them up, and there was a rock thrown at her hand.
Really? That's really interesting you said that, because people have seen them carrying like these balls made out of like big long marsh grasses and stuff, just looped around. It looks like a giant football or rugby ball. And I never even thought that there might be like some kind of meat source in there or some food. I learned something new tonight, that's for sure. That's something to keep my eye out for.
Yeah.
New Sasquatch behavior learned. Okay.
It's Trimble County where they're getting them, next to the Ohio River. It's all muddy soil, and that's where you're gonna find tracks that are gonna be easily castable and easily identifiable. So Rodney and Tom have a better opportunity for that reason alone.
I know that he's out in the woods a lot. Apparently he's been a Bigfooter for at least a little while. We need to find more about his background, his experience, and certainly about these casts.
I love the
We
synergy.
investigate alleged evidence of Bigfoot's existence. Footprint casts invariably are human, animal tracks, or some natural indentation in the ground.
She's the
Pulling up
skeptical
into
one.
Tom's
She isn't really
driveway.
believing Bigfoot.
Hello. How's it going?
Come on.
I see two good old boys, baseball caps, a little bit of camo.
Hopefully they'll be able to offer some information that we can follow up on.
So we heard you guys got some tracks.
Yeah, we got some casts to show y'all.
That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
What is that, like a 17-incher?
Look at this one.
17.
That's the biggest one I've seen in the Midwest.
So they lift up the towels and show all these casts. And the first thing I'm thinking is, wow, these all look kind of different and they have different sizes. That's what you would expect if they're getting real impressions. The guys who are gonna fake things are gonna have a whole bunch of casts that look all exactly the same. These look like
I
they
want
really
to see
found them in
some
the woods
DNA
and they cast
evidence.
them. You can see the foot shape in most of
You
these.
know what?
Some
You're
better
right.
than others,
I
and
do
a few
too.
of them are just
I do
mind-blowing.
too.
This first cast I got in April of 2012.
That actually came out not far from behind my house.
Yeah. And it appeared like it might have slid on the side of the ridge. Considered, you know, it would slide in the mud. Third one, we saw something standing behind a bush.
Well, that'd be
But it was
horrifying.
so thick back here, the vegetation was, we couldn't get back down there. Well, the next day, I got up and I said, well, I'm gonna take my four-wheeler and go back in there. I went back into that bush, and that's when I cast it.
That's a beauty, man. I'd love to have one like that.
Well, the first thing that jumps out to me is the toe placement, of course. But Sasquatches have such flexibility in their feet that this configuration is fairly common in the data
Look at
set of
that.
casts.
Science,
All five
Violet.
toes are visible.
Science.
I mean, the last two are a little bit lost, but that pinky's not, which is really nice. And also, if you look very closely, the toes are actually impressed more deeply than the ball of the foot itself.
All of these things are really nice
Look,
indicators
see?
of a very likely real Sasquatch print. I can tell that Tom's been Bigfooting a long time because he casts footprints that most other Bigfooters wouldn't. And this one here is an excellent example. Most people would look at that and say, oh, there's nothing there. But he cast it, and it's a good thing he did too, because right there on one of the toes, dermatoglyphics. Fancy word for fingerprints, basically. Primates have dermatoglyphics, and no other animal does.
It's not.
This thing
Look
was
at that.
made by a primate.
Look, see?
What's the most recent activity
Science.
you are aware of in this area?
Well, these are 2 days old.
2 days
Wow.
old.
Wow.
Still wet down there.
Look at that.
That's a beautiful cast.
Look at that. Nothing about it throws red flags to me that these are faked.
With these prints here, we also had a bluff charge.
A couple of days ago, you had a bluff charge.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Man, we're in the right spot.
How come no one caught
predator
one
like a
then?
Bigfoot
It's huge! This thing is ginormous, and half the time they're in the middle of like butt fuck nowhere, so they're just by themselves. It's like okay, if I'm out there, right, and there's like this rare bear, I'm not gonna try to catch it myself because like this thing's gonna kill me. Same thing with Bigfoot, right? And so the same thing goes but Bigfoot's smarter. If we're basing it off the things we just learned right now, they're somewhat competent and know a little bit more. So they're probably really smart and know how to avoid us. And they're nocturnal creatures, so they probably, hypothetically, if they were real, I'm saying they're real. Give me one sec. And yeah. So yes. If they were real, they'd behave like that and kind of avoid us.
Make its presence known if people are intruding too deep in its territory. Usually it'll do it by screaming, but sometimes if you get too close, they'll charge through the brush and trees but stop short, and that's called a bluff charge. That means we're in a pretty good area for some Bigfoot action.
Can you get us into that location?
Get you close into it.
Nice, because that's definitely a spot we need to look around.
Well, what I know is that 2 days ago, there were these tracks that you cast when you got a bluff charge.
I recognize that bent palm right there.
Yep, this is a guy in a suit. No guy in a suit can do a bluff charge. And like with that big of feet, I beg to differ. Now, sometimes I agree. Sometimes it can be a guy in the suit. People who just want views and stuff like that. But sometimes it's real.
Okay, so Mike, we've seen this video, but can you run us through everything that happened that day? It was about 2 years ago?
Yes, 2 years ago in March. We were driving through the park like we always do and just looked out. There was a figure walking through that you could see with your naked eye.
Where?
Clear. Several other people were pulling over too, seeing the same thing. You know, further we got out there, we took some pictures with our iPhone and was able to get it in the picture.
Okay, come on.
So why didn't you think
even
it was
I'm
just a guy
skeptical of
walking
that
out
one.
there?
Because that's not what it looked like, and that's why we ran closer. Not very many people saw it that far out. If you were going to hoax anything, you would at some point be a little closer to draw attention.
Of course, it's not impossible that a guy could have been out there in a costume, but of all
Exactly.
the places we've ever been, that would certainly be the most crazy place to go out in a costume, with so many alligators through that brush. But then Mike said something that really grabbed me.
And there were dead pigs everywhere.
What?
Out there?
All over.
Stacy Brown Jr. just sent us a video from a witness named Mike Falconer. After we met him, he brought up something that really grabbed me.
And there were dead pigs everywhere.
Really? Like
Yes.
Out there?
All over.
Where are you seeing these pigs?
From where we're standing to that head of woods on the other side, clear across there,
And that's about a mile away.
I would say.
Did you like inspect the carcass at all?
A little bit. But there were some pigs still alive with their front legs snapped off.
No,
Oh.
really? Broken clean off. Both legs
And-
or like
no,
one leg?
One leg and still alive. Hopping around on 3 legs because they would run from you when you'd walk across
And
there.
that's right where that figure was right out there. That's exactly what a Sasquatch would do, and it was right out in the same area where that figure was. Boy, that rang a bell with me, because I know that's what Sasquatches do. I've personally found deer with legs broken in Sasquatch tracks nearby in several states.
Oh, he
I've
knows.
also heard stories of hogs with legs broken in the same circumstances. Sasquatches will break the legs of prey to immobilize them, and so they can come back and get them later.
It obviously could have killed it then. It might have just wanted to keep the meat fresh, let it wouldn't go far.
Well, it's gonna go and get some other ones, break their legs, so they still got some live, fresh things to go back and eat.
Mike and Justin commented on finding all of these pigs, many of them dead, but some injured with broken or missing front legs. Immediately, Matt and Bobo are thinking that's a Sasquatch, breaking their legs so that they can't run away. Whereas I believe it easily could be an alligator, because alligators are real animals.
True. Oh, damn.
My whole life.
Did you think that Bigfoots didn't exist at all before that incident?
100%.
100%.
See,
what?
Violet,
Do not believe
he
that
was
they
just
exist,
like
and I
you.
made fun of anybody who would ever
Just
talk.
like
Why were you
you.
so sure of yourself in that regard?
I spent my life in the woods hunting.
So you think because you hadn't seen one, then they must not be there?
That's how I did think.
I got no doubt. That was a Sasquatch.
Oh, no.
See, now you're killing.
And that's about a mile away.
I would.
They still got some live, fresh things to go back and eat.
Mike and Justin commented on finding all of these pigs.
Yourself in that regard.
I spent my life in the woods hunting.
So you think because you hadn't seen one, then they must not be there?
That's how I did think.
I got no doubt. That was a Sasquatch. And plus, this is Miyaka. So many people have seen Sasquatches here. There's just no way that it was somebody out there in a costume.
Not
Far
the
more likely
iPhone
that it was really
clipping.
a Squatch, just like everybody else has seen.
All right. I'm going to get a snack, but I'm going to leave y'all with sensory videos. I will be right back. I'm going to get a snack, but we have this. Keep us busy.
We know you care. But if this is all too real for you...
I'll be right back. Hello, sorry about that. I just scavenged around my kitchen and I found this thing I bought. And it was like, it's a cottage cheese, but with blueberries in it. And you like, hello, thank you. And you like mix it together. The best. I love cottage cheese, bro. Okay. Now, it is not a relationships with Dr. Ella. What? A doctor's a VTuber now? That's sick. Let's see this. What else? You know, it's never a reaction stream without good old Papa Meat. Last time we watched the video on the random ladies who are a cult, but he's uploaded more things. So Doomsday Preppers, weight loss. Oh, not totally deaths. No. The Rainbow Prison, hoax, unhinged children TV shows, dumbest criminals. You know what? I want the unhinged shows. Let me see this.
People of America, it's the all-new Sonic Smasher. Live free, eat Sonic. You wanna live free? Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Oh, this is messy.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Come on in and sit on down because today we're talking about Goosebumps. Yes! My favorite! We talk about Goosebumps all the time on this channel. We've discussed Werewolf of Fever Swamp, Night of Living Dummy 3, Stay Out of the Basement. But we haven't
I never read Goosebumps because I was afraid of it as a kid.
Important pieces of Goosebumps history, and that's the Haunted Mask, which is by far the scariest, most up. Can't believe they showed that to children kind of thing back in the day. Even when I was rewatching it, it's only an hour long because it's two like TV specials back to back. But even it was just it's unhinged. You have a girl who's just bullied to near death, people keeling over laughing, pointing at her. I mean, it is the quintessential origin story of any school but luckily, it's just a little Canadian girl who just wants to scare people back. It's innocently brilliant. I love it so much, but we have to talk about it. We have to go through the specifics of this absolute gold mine. So without further ado, let's talk about the Haunted Mask.
Did you still love Goosebumps?
I love pussy, even when it's dirty.
Huh?
That's okay because I keep that mess free with Pretty Litter. Main thing about love.
Give me a sec. I used to love Goosebumps. I read like 2 of their books. I never watched the shows.
Pussies, you want to be able to pet your cats and pussies all you want, but you don't want to smell them. Developed by veterinarians, Pretty Litter has advanced odor control. The crystals absorb odor and moisture, keeping our barn and our home smelling very fresh from all that rancid barn pussy that walks around outside and helps protect my ducks.
I'm eating cottage cheese right now. Hold on, man.
Pretty Litter toy, because pussies love.
Every Goosebumps special, we start off with a nice little intro from R.L. Stine. They get a nice collection. You see the Haunted Mask at the very beginning, and it goes down the row. And you see all these absolutely pig face men, and then it ends with R.L. Stine, which I like to think that the director of the episode was like, why don't you just put yourself at the end of the line there? I feel like your big ass mole is just as as any of the other faces up here. And R.L. Stine, as uncharismatic as ever, gives a nice little spiel about how this episode's about heart and loving your family.
There is nothing more powerful than the love of her family and friends.
When it really, I don't think it ever touches on that at all. The episode more so feels it's about self-acceptance, it's about self-love. So even he's just like, I forgot. I don't remember what it was about, but here it is. We open with our main character, Carly, Carly Beth, which is probably one of the best child protagonist names I've ever heard. But it starts off with Carly Beth and her friend Sabrina going to the haunted, spooky store near their house. She's just kind of looking at it, which I thought was kind of weird because if you're in a weird, small Canadian town, you'd have to assume that this place has been here forever. And she's acting like it's like a weird, like, rave pop-up or something like that. Carly Beth and Sabrina decide to head on over. They don't want to go. We're not going to go into the shop yet, but there is a strange man that looks at them from the window, which sets up a nice weird face man. It looks like he has hepatitis or genital warts on his face. But Sabrina and Carly Beth are going to a pumpkin patch because it's right before Halloween, and even Sabrina's like, why the f did you wait so long? Carly Beth, she's like, why is it so scary out here? And you're like, okay, this is the kind of character we're dealing with. Chuck and Steve pop out with pumpkin masks on and scare Carly Beth half to death, and this is going to become a reoccurring motif of Carly Beth screaming and then Chuck and Steve like keeling over laughing as if scaring somebody is the funniest thing to ever happen on this earth. They're just like, boo. She's like, ah! Oh my God. Ah! Oh my God. Oh my God. It's the most obnoxious thing. If anything, if I was driving by in like my Toyota Paseo, pull over and I'd run out my car and I'd grab him. Dirt. They are assholes, are they not? They're worst.
But they think she's hot. Well, we just like her because the only way we can show affection is, I don't know, shooting darts at her back or something. Maybe slapping her with a belt. I don't know. We're just kids.
You see that Carly Beth's a big scaredy cat, but she has every right to be, though. That's what I don't get, is that everyone in this town is scaring her. Carly Beth and Sabrina decide to leave the pumpkin patch. Chuck and Steve probably still giggling off in the goddamn distance, and old herpy face looks at the door again, which he's very ominous. He's looking at the door, and he has like a very devious, like a black button-up suit and like a red tie. Almost looks like a weird, like a totally out of age My Chemical Romance fan.
Oh man!
Home, and we get introduced to Carly Beth's rockin' hot mom. I was bricked up watching it because the mom was like, is she single? Which we do find out later that she's married, and I was like, bullshit, dude. They tried to make her a single mom, but they knew that they'd have people rioting outside trying to get to her. Carly Beth's mom is like, I finished your head sculpture in my art class today. It's the most uncanny, like creepiest
looks like He-Man
sculpture of a child's head I've ever seen. Even Carly Beth's like, wow.
It's kind of creepy, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Why would you do this? And then, of course, she gives a great answer of like,
I mean, why do you want something that looks like me?
It's something that looks like you, silly, because I love you.
Well, because I love you, silly. And you're like, okay, well, I guess there's no way. We're not really having a conversation, are we? This is what we're doing. Carly Beth freaks out because she thinks that she sees the thing smiling at her.
It smiled at me.
Which they really do. They do a good job by building Carly Beth to just be the most insufferable scaredy cat. And you're just like, God damn, dude. Can't it go 3 seconds? But then she walks away and the thing smiles. The most uncanny 90s special effects.
I like the goosebump filter.
We have the thing back there.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It doesn't do it justice. I feel like in the movie, its eyes are a lot more like black. It's a lot more devious in the actual special.
Carly
Beth's extremely hot. You know what she kind of seems like? She seems like one of those older moms where she's just like, I used to be what? Like you're sitting in the kitchen and then she's like talking about like Van Halen or some shit. And you're like, oh man, I really would have loved to see Van Halen. She's like, I went to that tour. And you're like, what? No, or are you serious? She's like, yeah. I was a little wild back then too. And you're just like, woo! But no, she decides she's not that cool. She's like, Carly Beth, I made you that duck costume.
Your duck costume is all ready. I put it on your bed.
My duck costume?
I mean, Carly Beth, I like how Carly Beth's like, what? What?
You saw a duck at the mall, and you said you thought it might be fun to be a duck for Halloween.
You wanted to be a duck, so I just made you a duck. And then Carly Beth, being the goddamn saint she is, she's like, okay, goes down to her room once again. Well, first I'd be kind of scared too. She goes to her room and there's like, it's very suspenseful. She's like reaching for the doorknob, but she hears like, quack, quack.
Why is it a child thing?
Inside of her room, I'd be like, Mom, whatever. Opens it up. She's assaulted by her little brother, who says the most annoying catchphrase, dude, in this movie. God damn, it's so annoying.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I get so livid when I think about that little. I do like, she's like, get off me, you jerk.
No, you jerking off me.
I thought she said something like, you're jerking me off. I was like, the way it was phrased up, I was like sitting there and I was like, Oh yeah, but then she gets up and there's like a perfectly comedic time bit. She slams, as she's slamming it, the kid like perfectly turns to her, and it looks like the door just like caves in his face. So you can play that. If you played that and held and held it for a beat longer, you would hear a scream.
Carly Beth, the scaredy cat.
It was him screaming. It'd be so good. It would be so good if that's what happened. But anyways, we cut to the next day. Carly Beth's at school and she's eating lunch and everyone's outside. You always when I was a kid, right? The very first scene, you see the girl pull out the sandwich and the bread is like black and white. When I was a kid, I was always just like, oh, I'm gonna buy that sandwich. That's morbidly obese Hunter being like. But basically, Carly Beth is going up and Chuck and Steve are back. They love to laugh, let me tell you. And they're like, whoa, Carly Beth, we're not gonna bug you anymore. While Carly Beth's looking, she doesn't notice that Steve puts like a handful of worms in her sandwich. She eats it. Okay. She eats it. It takes her 3 full bites to realize that there's this giant worm in her sandwich. And then I feel horror. I'm like looking at it now. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, stupid. Now looking at it, I'm like, this is horrible.
You ruined her
An
lunch.
adult needs to intervene immediately.
Yeah, you
I feel
ruined her
so bad
lunch.
for this little girl. Because then everybody, it's like the most comical, like bombastic. Everybody is just keeling over and laughing at her, and she's like trying not to cry, and everyone's like pointing at her.
Gross.
There's even a guy like they put like this clown front and center, and even he's like, hey, 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 hey. It's just the most sadistically evil part of the movie. I was like, oh my, no wonder some bad shit's about to go down. You've driven her to this place. Sorry.
She took some really big bites.
Oh my God. I mean, comedically large bites to the point where I'm like, Carly, you could have probably tasted the first bite. Also, fun fact about that, the actress who plays Carly Beth, she actually ate worms for that scene. I thought that was kind of gross. Carly Beth goes back to her room and she goes back up to the duck costume. And it does look bad. It's a bad costume. I would have done the same thing. But it's like one of the, it's bad. It's bad tantrum. She throws a tantrum, but it's like, you. She's talking about herself. I mean, she is ripping up this thing, but she's like, I hate you. I hate you. I'm like, this is some emotionally dark subjects we're going into.
Right now.
Self-hatred. And then now the whole thing too is she starts immediately her mood changes. She's like, I want to get something scary. I don't want to be a duck anymore. She goes into like some weird like wicker basket thing. It was the most 90s shit I've ever seen. It's like something like weird. She's like, counts up like $26 and heads back down to the goddamn goofy hepatitis genital wart store.
Hepatitis genital.
Goes inside, which when I was a kid, dude, I love, man, inside of that store, which also was like, what random town has this badass Halloween store? And the guy who works there is immediately like, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
It's like, it's a business, it's a store. I thought I
The
could come
fact that
inside
he
to buy something. You have
perfectly
5 minutes.
emulated him.
And he like runs off.
Everything I have is up on the walls. 5 minutes.
And being the little Inspector Gadget she is, she just sneaks in the back, and there's like the most haunting mask ever. Haunted mask. One's green and evil, and that's like the one we know that we're gonna get. But then the other ones are just like fat old men. While she's looking at the mask, the random like herpes guy is like, no, you can't have those.
I said no.
Thanks to Google Play Games, we're taking our mobile gaming to the next level. We can now play Cookie
No.
Run Tower of...
She's like, why? Like, I have money, I'd like to buy one. He's like, they're just too frightening.
They're too frightening.
Which is kind of funny. I'd be like, all right, they're scary, but they're not that scary. She basically grabs the thing. He's like, no! He does like a dive bomb for her, which I was like, what was he gonna do if he's gonna catch her? Strangle her to death. But she just throws the wad of money up in the air, and he's like, Carly Beth steals the mask, runs out, and she's like, wow, I can't believe I have it. She has a moment of clarity, though. She says, well, what the f am I doing stealing this mask from some like weird guy with like hepatitis and all kinds of diseases? She turns back, and the guy's just standing at the door, and he like turns it to close. First off, I was like, why wouldn't you just open the door and be like, okay,
Give it
thanks.
back.
Maybe he can't leave the store. Maybe that's like...
You can't leave the store? You need to establish that you can't leave that. He's like... So Carly Beth immediately puts the mask on. It looks creepy as shit. She scares her brother, and then she starts doing things. She's like, the mask won't come off. And finally, it comes off, and she's like, whoa. And he's like,
How'd you change your voice like that? That was the scariest part.
he's like, I barely pitch shifted my voice. I just sounded like this. He's like, how did you, Houdini?
Ooh, that was the best part. She sees him. Who are
you? Who are you? Yeah, exactly. He steps onto the hallway, which, to be fair, I would probably, that felt like the most organic response in the whole movie. She just steps out and he's just like, who are you? Almost immediately. I'm not gonna dock him on that one.
For my
I'd probably do
fight or
something very
flight
similar.
response, I'm a
She
fighter.
starts immediately
I'll start
going into
punching.
like uber edgelord cringe.
That was great. You're really freaked out.
She's like, you're really scared there.
He's like, yeah, I thought you were a random stranger in the house breaking into the house. I thought I was gonna die. She's like, I kind of liked it.
But I like it.
And does one of those, and you're like,
I
immediately following that
creed.
scene, Carly Beth goes to a mirror, puts the mask back on. This time, you know it's because you can't see her human skin anymore, and the neck and the mask just suctions to her face. She's looking at it, and what is she? What's the next logical step? What would you do? Would you probably scare your mom? Sure, why not? Maybe just go trick or treating. No, she takes a random wooden pole in the house, grabs the plaster head of herself, puts a little ribbon around it and runs off and just starts terrorizing the entire neighborhood. Like, I mean, some real like mentally disturbed shit.
Yeah.
She's like walking and she's like, she's worn the mask for a little over a minute. She goes up to Sabrina's house. I want to say too, Sabrina is supposed to be a cute cat. That is like a cat mask.
Looks like a rat.
Can you imagine? I think a good barometer for a lot of masks is if a full-grown man could wear it, would it be scary? Because you know they have like Spirit has like demon masks or whatever. But if I saw a guy wear that, you'd be like, oh, it's just a mask. Imagine a shirtless man. Well, I already made it kind of scary. He has a shirt on. Then almost even if he was wearing Carly Beth's mask, can you?
It feels like taxidermy.
That's what it felt like. Is like it almost felt real. Carly Beth, I killed a cat and made a mask out of it. Sabrina's like, holy shit, that mask is like extremely scary. What's up with the bust you're carrying? Okay, let me give you a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing. Does she say A, it's a bust of my face? B, it's a Halloween accessory. C, blank. And D, she says, it's me, it's who I used to be.
Please don't let it be D.
If you answered D, you might have just won $1 million. I was so shocked when I was watching this and I heard that again.
Oh, it's me. It's who I used to be.
What?
If I showed up to work and you were wearing a clown mask and you had a plaster head of yourself, I'm like, oh, cool clown mask, Nick. Gotta ask though, what is that plaster sculpture of your head? And you responded with, it's me. It's who I used to be. I'd be like, and I'd shut my door and I'd lock it is what I would do. But we can give her the benefit of the doubt because it's a kid. Sabrina asks if it's real skin and it tells her to take it off because it's so scary. But Carly Beth just goes into like some extreme like a child, like a tantrum fit. She just like starts spazzing out and throwing herself around almost like a kid at like Toys R Us or some shit. It's unhinged, and that's where they end the first special. So
what?
like, oh, okay. But then we cut back to the next episode and she's just like, haha, I'm just playing. Carly Beth runs around now and she's just like screaming at random children. It's very odd. It's just uncomfortable. Watching somebody just scream at a child, not as fun as you think it would be. On paper, sounds pretty good. In practice, you're like, okay, what are we doing here? Sabrina and Carly Beth go and they go to their first. Finally, we get some normality, right? They go up to their first house for trick or treating. They knock on the door. Trick or treat. A mother and two of her kids show up, and I love the mother's reaction. She's like, "Oh my god, your mask is horrifying." Carly Beth like goes down and whispers something terrible into the kid's ears, and she's like, the mom's like, hey, don't tell my kid to kill himself on Halloween night. And Carly Beth's just like, I'm crazy, and grabs candy and just runs
What
off.
the hell?
If that's the behavior you have at house one, where does the night go from here? If you're bringing that energy
Only up
to
from
house
here.
one, you're not going to be able to keep that up all night. I can tell you that right now. Carly Beth then blames the mask for doing it, and she runs off and continues her extreme rampage. She basically is just like, the mask is making me do it. It pains me to say it. We cut back to Chuck and Steve, who are pirates, which just, it's...
Could it get any more homosexual?
Couldn't be any more gay, like butt pirates. Like, it's just like, it's one of those things. They're like, yar! Carly Beth peeks around another tree. I forgot to say that earlier. She keeps peeking around trees. Like, she can't just like look like this. She has to be completely sideways and stick her head out. Also, by this time too, the mask is like wet as shit, which I think it looks pretty sick because I'm pretty sure they're trying to say like it's her skin and she's sweating because she's been running around, but it is damp. Carly Beth comes up behind Chuck and Steve and just scares the shit out of them. They're like, whoa, hey, okay, thanks, Carly Beth. And Carly Beth is it's almost like an accent. She's like, you should apologize to her.
Apologize to her. Tell Carly Beth you're sorry for every time you scared her. For every time you made people laugh at her.
And they're like, Jesus Christ, fine. And then they look at the plaster head of Carly Beth, and the goddamn plaster head says,
Help me. Please help me.
and Chuck and Steve are just like,
God.
thing just talk. Basically, Chuck and Steve run off, and then Carly Beth, God, it's so cringy. She just does, she has like this like weird like goblin laugh that she's doing, which is like, and
Why
then
did she
starts clawing
howl?
at the moon, and with her bare hands digs a hole and puts the plaster head of herself in it into the ground and
I
buries.
think she just mentally
And I
broke.
want to say for a child's book, this is like some serious like iconography, like some serious like screenplay shit. She has completely rejected her old self, killed it, and has buried it, and is like, this is who I am now. Carly Beth, after that whole thing, she does a little cartwheel, runs off, and she meets up with Sabrina again, and they go home to see all the candy they've collected, which we've only seen Carly Beth go to one house. Carly Beth then tries to take the mask off, but it won't come off, and it's horrifying because Sabrina's like looking around at it, and she's like, your eyes, they're not even your eyes, and she's like, there's no seam.
There's no bottom to this mask. There's no line in between the mask and your skin. There's no place I can reach my hand in.
Which is actually kind of if I'm claustrophobic enough to where I'd be like, oh my God. Also, they're trying to lift it up and it's like, looks so painful. She's like, with like her sharp ass teeth. Which Carly Beth, yeah, she like looks in the mirror and she's like, those aren't my eyes. Ah! And runs off into the street.
They're not my eyes, Sabrina. This isn't me in here. I'm supposed to be mean, but I'm not.
I love that line. I'm supposed to be mean, but I'm not. And Sabrina's like, yeah, I don't, what the hell is happening? Mom, get the tranquilizers. We gotta put Carly Beth down. Carly Beth decides to go back to the store and meet the herpes, genital warts ridden man and get some goddamn answers for this crazy mask. Why would you let me steal this? Well, a heavy price. The genital warts man, the herpy face guy, tells her that he cannot remove the mask because it is a real face.
Because it is not a mask. It is a real face.
Bombshell. All the masks we saw
Whoa.
earlier are actual human skin that morph onto the face because they want to look beautiful, like beautiful and young again, have a body. And even, I remember when I was a kid, I was like,
damn.
which is, it's pretty funny. He's like looking at it. And I think that it's also referring to like his face is transforming and it's going to happen to him too. And that's why he has herpes. He's like, I shouldn't have had sex with that Taiwanese woman for such a cheap price. God, what do you get for having a Groupon in Tijuana? But I like he walks up to the mask and he's like,
I call them the unloved ones.
it's like, that's a pretty creative name, Mr. Hepatitis. He's like, thank you. In a weird turn of events, they all start coming alive and floating, and the old man's like, run! I think they knock him over or something. They do something to him to incapacitate him, even though I feel like he just like swat him down. To be fair, floating heads were coming back, and they're like,
Oh my.
I want to see the real you.
she runs out of the store, chasing her all over town, basically all through all the trials and tribulations she's been through, and it leads her back to the graveyard where she was before. They're all circling around her. They're like, oh, and she's like, it's not me, it's not me. And then she digs up her face again, and it's a beautiful full character moment where Carly Beth learns to love herself and love the imperfections that is her being a scaredy cat. And that in return, because she loves herself, she's able to take off the mask, which I gotta say, that's a pretty good ending. To resolve your monster, that's fucking awesome. And it actually has a nice moment. Carly Beth goes back home and, you know, they're like all this thing. She goes inside, cries to her mom, Mom, I love you. I was like, yeah, right, dude. I was like, show her where the plaster head's at, dude. And the whole thing basically crescendos to Carly Beth, like from the other room. After the whole night she's just had wearing that mask, she just leaves it on the ground for her brother to take. And the kid's like, yeah, sure. He stands out and he stands out of the room and he does, gotcha. And he's just wet as shit. And then we get R.L. Stine doing his nice little outro, and his parents are scared. And he does, stay spooked, everyone. and it cuts to credits, and it's a magical time. It really is probably the best Goosebumps book. I love this one, dude. You get a nice guy, hepatitis, herpes, genital warts ridden face. You have a scaredy cat girl, which justified. She's the only justified school I've ever seen in my life.
Jesus.
What? You're gonna tell me right now you're gonna look at that film and not say that she needed some other kind of fucking retribution. I would say this is probably the most popular one. It's probably the best. I think it's the first special, maybe. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. We can put a little note here. Was it the first one? I don't think it was. But let me tell you something. Practical effects go hard. The mask goes hard. It's just a great romp all around. I absolutely love this special. It makes me wish that people still made this kind of stuff to this day. We should do it. Not like Goosebumps books, but we should make a little fun stuff like this. I feel like you can do it now. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a good Goosebumps romp. We haven't talked about Goosebumps in a while, and god damn it, I love Goosebumps. One day we're gonna have to watch the new series, and I started watching some of it, dude. I kept watching the commercial of it when Justin Long like looks up and he's smiling in the commercial. Ooh. God, it's so cringe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll watch that, but I just know it's going to be an absolute trash fire. Yeah, I need to make sure that all the kids are relatable and new, and they have iPhones.
Oh God.
Okay, and they're worried about likes on Instagram. Can we get that, please? I don't know. This is a great one. I love talking about Goosebumps. We'll have to talk about Goosebumps again soon because I love fun watching this. And until next time, guys, I hope you stay scared and don't wear any masks you get from a guy who has gingivitis. That's the gum stuff. I mean, yeah, don't get it. Well, I don't want to say that word because it's demonetizable. Okay, bye everyone. Bye.
Bye. What a good man. Makes great videos. See what else the algorithm has for us today. One, A Talk in the Night with Emi Richu. I'm good. Actually scary. Lost Tapes. Nah. China's Dead Disney. The Cryptid Tournament. That is for some other time. Oh, sweet. Red Thread. Oh, what the? Yu-Gi-Oh card. Unwatched Horror. Ghost Hunter. A Talk in the Dark. Scary Side of YouTube Sasquatch Hunting. Nah. There's so much Papa Meat videos here. Oh, that looks horrific. Do not want to go there. Where are we still? Mr. Swirls user. No, I don't want to watch Gypsy Rose. No. Oh. My entire YouTube is freaking ads on ads about Gypsy Rose. I'm like, no, I'm good. They're found. Adult content. See, I'm not a huge Oreo fan. Again, I've said it before. With an old spaghetti. Important.
At Fiverr, we offer 3D rendering services. But you probably...
I'm not
spaghetti has
I'm not a huge fan of sweet.
You could have the best
I love soup
in the world. But if you opted for that bag of spaghetti in the very back of your cupboard, maybe it'll be okay, but there'll always be something a little off about it. Like that it doesn't quite come together. That almost feels like two separate things in the same bowl. In short, it just won't be very roux. Now, roux is a word that we don't really seem to have in English for whatever reason. The characters literally mean enter flavor, and it refers to the quality of flavor absorptiveness. A good example might be something like a chicken parm sandwich. You deep fry the thing, not for crispy related purposes, but so that the flavor of the
That thing is
sauce can
massive.
enter that breading.
My
In a
gosh.
way is why braised root vegetables are the best part of braises, why it's often better to finish your pasta in with the sauce. And in Chinese food, it's a big reason why we basically always marinate before stir frying. And I think this is why spaghetti often isn't very good in the context of a lot of Asian soups. Because within the greater noodle universe, spaghetti is one of the firmest, driest noodles that you can get. I mean, like egg only, low moisture, durum wheat. Sort of akin to Cantonese wonton noodles. The stuff's basically designed from the ground up to be hearty as hell. But unlike Cantonese wonton noodles, they're also pretty thick. So in a soup, the flavor entrance quality is not exactly
Oh, the
wet.
dog.
But luckily, I think we might have just stumbled upon a solution. You see, browsing our increasingly problematically sized collection of old Chinese cookbooks. In this 1989 Yangzhou one, there's a dish called wei mian, or braised noodles. No, this dish isn't exactly unknown or anything, but you don't really see it around too much anymore. And the noodle cooking technique is this ever so slight twist. Basically, it uses a firmer noodle, partially boils it to what's more or less al dente by any other name. But unlike pasta, then shocks with cool water to stop the cooking and rinse off some of the starch, and finally boils the noodle till cooked inside of the soup. And
Oh.
with this technique, the flavor enters, even with spaghetti. So while today we'll just be covering this old school dish, definitely do keep this technique in mind for whenever you've just gotta reach for that spaghetti. So then, let's get started here at first with said soup. So we'll be using a base of 10 grams of dried shrimp here, and then soaking that with 20 grams of Shaoxing wine and setting that aside. Next, grab about 30 grams worth of scallions, cut them into about inch-long sections, separating out the whites and greens. And then, honestly, that's it for the soup prep.
Oh.
To make it then, just swirl in a tablespoon half of lard to a wok or pot, and fry those scallion whites over a medium-low flame. Once they're starting to get a bit golden brown, then add in the greens. Continue to slowly fry those until the greens deepen in color and ever so slightly crispen up. Then just remove solely the greens, but no need to be too obsessive. Then, to the remaining whites, add in the soaked shrimp together with the wine and swap your flame up a touch to medium. Fry that until the wine's basically reduced away and the oil's gotten clear again, about 3 minutes. Then hit it with 2 cups of hot boiled water from the kettle. That said, at this point, in the interest of cultural fidelity and also not pissing off any Jiangzhou people out there, we should probably note that in Yangzhou, the dominant way that you see wei mian is served baitang. That is, a white soy sauceless soup. But today we went hongtang, that is, red soup, soy sauce included.
Okay.
Basically just because that's the way we personally
Yeah, I
do it.
love soup.
Further,
I'm a big-
the very most classic braised noodle out there is probably this dish, which uses a fish stock and shredded fish, which we'll link a couple recipes for in the pinned comment below. Either way, for
Ooh.
us today, we'll
Ooh,
just toss
sorry,
in a
no.
1/4 teaspoon salt.
I'm a
1
huge
teaspoon
soup person,
MSG,
so this is
1
very
teaspoon
interesting
of
to me.
sugar, together with a tablespoon half of soy sauce. Quick stir, heat off, soup base ready. And for us, we're transferring this thing to a serving pot, mostly for YouTube thumbnail purposes.
I love that pot.
But
It is so
definitely
pretty.
Feel free to dish minimize and keep this all in one. So soup base in hand, now we can handle our noodles. Nothing crazy.
And they
pot of
didn't
boiling
break
water,
the noodles,
100 grams
okay.
of dried spaghetti, and cook that until it just starts to reach al dente, which was, for this bag on this stove, about 5 minutes for us. Then strain and give that a good rinse. Again, not just to shock, but also to avoid clouding the soup. Then just bring your soup base up to a boil, then toss in your now par-cooked spaghetti. Once back up to a boil, swap your flame down to medium-low and then just let that braise. If you want it to keep a bit of a bite, braise it for about 4 to 5 minutes. Or if you're cool with softer and more roux, 8 to 10. Then just toss back on the crispy scallion, plus a couple of fresh ones for the sake of good looking. And with that, your spaghetti noodle soup is done.
A lot simpler than I thought it'd be.
So in Jiangzhou, they actually have a specific type of noodles that's used for weimen.
I love that dog
they
so
are
much.
Fresh noodles that are usually thicker so that it can sustain longer cooking time. So in this context, pasta or spaghetti is actually pretty good for this application. But of course, you can use whatever Chinese or Asian types of noodle that you want. But if they are thinner, just remember to cut the cooking time slightly. So right, as always, recipes in description box. Thank you for everyone that's supporting us.
Thank
on
you,
Patreon,
lady.
And of course, subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.
Oh, it's so cute. Bad tattoos, cooking videos. Ooh, Ratatouille.
Subway did what?
No Subway. No. Medieval junk food. Was this King Kong? Nah, I'm not feeling 30 minutes. Actually, I think on that note, I'm gonna head out today, fellas. I think today was a nice, laid-back, cozy stream. And honestly, I really do enjoy these types of streams. That being said, thank you all to all who stopped by, chatted with me, we vibed. As usual, stay safe, eat well, sleep well, stay hydrated, and most importantly, please take care of yourself. Stand right, boys. Bye-bye.